AEW Grand Slam is taking place this Wednesday, with Dynamite being filmed live and Collision being taped. That of course will air later in the week, so it's a good excuse for me to do a predictions video for you here. We're going to do it in a quick format as well. I can share my picks, who I think will be winning, and a bit of fantasy booking as we go through to the 5th anniversary of Dynamite next week, and of course then on the way to AEW Wrestle Dream. So let's kick things off then with Grand Slam AEW Dynamite. We're going to start with the AEW Women's Championship. We've got Mariah defending against Yuka Sakazaki. For me, Mariah will retain the championship here. I just see this as a filler match. However, I think post-match could be a lot more interesting. Mina Shirakawa has been, well, on the lips of Mariah recently to return to AEW. She wants her to return. Hashtag we want Mina. We've wanted her to return as well. I think she will make an appearance at Grand Slam, and it will start the build to a future Mariah versus Mina Shirakawa match. Potentially, I predict it will be at Wrestle Dream for the AEW Women's World Championship. Personally, for me, that's something I'm really excited about, really hyped about. We did see Mina's reaction to how Mariah was acting when winning the AEW Women's World Championship against Timeless Toni Storm at Allin at Wembley Stadium, so we can start seeing that the friendship isn't quite what it was with Mina and Mariah, going back to what Mina has seen at Wembley, and of course when Mariah didn't take Mina's side when Mina was against Timeless Toni Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship, going back to Forbidden Door. For the AEW Tag Team Championships, we got the Young Bucks going against Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. As much as I want to see brand new tag team champions here, I've got a funny feeling that this is the start of what will be a bigger story for Will Ospreay and the Don Callis family. I think there'll be some form of miscommunication as they're not regular tag team partners anymore, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Of course, they have history of being a part of the United Empire in New Japan, but of course Fletcher has been usually partnering with Mark Davis, of course Aussie Open, so even though they were part of a faction together, not really known as being actually a straight up tag team. So for me, I think that there will be some miscommunication here. I think Don Callis will be upset with Will Ospreay, the fact that, well, he delivered on the favour to Will Ospreay when you go back to Forbidden Door a couple of years ago against Kenny Omega, made sure that Will Ospreay got the victory there, but Will Ospreay didn't actually return the favour by bringing the tag team championships to the Don Callis family, which I think will lead to a bit of fun storytelling between now and Wrestle Dream. I think we're going to start off with Will Ospreay versus Ricochet on the 5th anniversary of Dynamite. I think that if I had to predict it, I think Will Ospreay would win the first match, just to show that Ricochet isn't quite at the level that he says he is, or to have a great showing. I think Ricochet will say he knows he can beat Will Ospreay, and I think Don Callis will get in Ricochet's ear, which will lead to a turn at Wrestle Dream, where Ricochet then would eventually become the brand new international champion. What this will lead with Kyle Fletcher, will that lead to Ospreay versus Fletcher, or Fletcher will leave the Callis family to join Will Ospreay, because of course they can have the United Empire in AEW, remains to be seen at this point. But I think Will Ospreay and Don Callis will be the main fallout coming out at the end of this match. For the FTW Championship, we've got Hook against Roderick Strong. For me, going to keep this one simple and short. Hook is in New York, he's from New York, and I think he'll be retaining the FTW Championship. However, I do think this has got potential to be a very good match. Now, I've got two scenarios for this next match I'm going to discuss, and then they're going to give you my pick of which one I think will happen, although I can see both happening. It's a Lumberjack strap match between Jeff Jarrett and Hangman Adam Page. Hangman, well, seemingly the favourite for this one, you would imagine, is taking out people now who are supportive of Swerve Strickland on his rise to the top, Jeff Jarrett being one of them, and we do know that Prince Nana is going to give an update on Swerve Strickland this upcoming week on Grand Slam. Now for me, I think Swerve will be back in time for Wrestle Dream, as it will take place in his home state of Washington, and for me, I reckon we will get Swerve versus Hangman one more time, as the fact that Hangman, well, although he beat Swerve Strickland in the cage match, the Lights Out cage match at All Out, that doesn't count on the record, so technically Hangman hasn't beaten Swerve yet, so there's an excuse to do this one more time. Now of course the obvious is that the Lumberjacks are around the ring and Hangman simply wins the match, and we get an announcement that Swerve will be back at Wrestle Dream and they will take on each other one more time, or simply Prince Nana says that Swerve is recovering and will return soon. Hangman comes out, threatens Nana away, and actually Swerve is in the building and returns here at Grand Slam and actually costs Hangman the match against Jeff Jarrett. The second option I like more, but I'm going to predict Hangman Adam Page to pick up the win, because at this moment you need him to keep looking strong. So for me, Hangman to pick up that W, and I think just knowing that he didn't actually beat him on the record, it was a lights out match, is enough to send Hangman crazy. The idea that Swerve would come back and it can set up one final match at Wrestle Dream with some crazy stipulation, I would imagine. Pac, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta are set to defend the AEW Trios Championship on this show. There was no graphic, there was no opponents, they've been announced at the time of recording. Basically, I think this goes one of two ways. Once again, you go back to All Out. Wheeler Yuta was really upset when there was the beatdown from Jon Moxley, Claudio and Pac on Bryan Danielson. Pac was, of course, holding Wheeler back. They've not really been on the same page since Wheeler has been away from Pac and Claudio, so to see them back in the ring together is going to be interesting. Is there going to be an opportunity for Wheeler to see the way that Pac and Claudio sees things, or has it gone too far? There is no mercy being shown and they will turn on Wheeler at the first opportunity. That's the big question that will go here. Obviously, I think this Trios Championship run is going to be short-lived. I think eventually Wheeler will break away from the group. It can lead to some fun matches potentially, even as soon as Wrestle Dream. But for the fact that I just don't know who they're going to be taking on at this show, I have to go with the champions to retain. And I think you can just drag the story out a little bit further at this stage. If Bryan Danielson is cleared to compete, he will take on Nigel McGuiness. Yes, and yes. I cannot wait for this match. The match I'm most excited for on this show, if it is to happen. If Danielson gets cleared in time. We've already mentioned the beatdown that came from Moxley earlier in the video, and of course he is meant to be banged up off screen as well, so hopefully he's back in time as well, because the match with McGuiness before retiring full time is certainly a dream match that I personally would love to see, and I know many of the wrestling community would like to see as well. Since the fact that Nigel McGuiness was retired, we never thought we'd see him in ring again, and then of course Oasis was very loud on the speakers at Wembley. The pop was even louder, and McGuiness was, of course, in a casino, the Casino Gauntlet match that was taking place on that show. For me, can't wait for it. This is going to be awesome. It's been building for a long time with McGuiness on commentary. Of course, Danielson would pick up the victory here, but I think this one is definitely going to have a great story beat, going to feel very personal, and if it does happen, I think that we could be in for a very special match on this show. But yeah, Danielson will be my pick. And the last match for AEW Dynamite on the Grand Slam portion will be Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley. The winner will take on Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship at Wrestle Dream. Of course, Darby Allin was meant to have the championship match here at Grand Slam, however he's putting it on the line against Moxley. Look, to be fair, there's two ways you can look at this. Bryan Danielson has said in interviews he wants to put over a Washington wrestler on the way out, and of course if he was to take on Darby Allin, who is from Washington, that's exactly what he would be doing. And of course, if it was at Wrestle Dream, it would be in the state of Washington as well. And to be honest, I can't think of a better fairy tale story and a passing of the torch, especially with Darby, everything he's been through, and the fact that he's been aligned with Sting for all these many years. To now go and break out and be solo for the last few months since Sting was retired would be a great story. However, the story just screams Jon Moxley here, doesn't it? Moxley versus Bryan Danielson is the match I think we all want to see after All Out. To be fair, it wasn't my favourite angle that was played out with the plastic bag, going to be honest with that one. However, Moxley and Danielson have the history of the Blackpool Combat Club. Now Moxley breaking away and saying he's choosing anarchy, he's choosing war. For me, I think that it's the match that I think makes most sense here, and I do think Moxley is going to be the one to win this match and also retire Bryan Danielson full-time at Wrestle Dream. So Jon Moxley is my prediction. After all, if Moxley is going to say that this isn't your company anymore and there's going to be something going on that makes AEW feel out of control, the world title being in his possession makes that storyline have a lot more leverage. The fact if Moxley was to lose this and not get the world championship, for me, takes a lot away from the storyline. So for me, it's most important that Moxley does win here. Let's turn our attention then to AEW Collision Grand Slam. We've got an eliminator match for the Continental Championship. Kazuchika Okada going against Sammy Guevara. For me, this one should be an excellent match. Really looking forward to it. Apparently a first time ever as well. This one's been billed as. However, I do think Okada will be beating Gavara here. Feels like a fun match to do, but being on Collision, I just don't see this one carrying over. I don't see Okada losing anytime soon. The person I think is most likely to beat Okada, for me, is Konosuke Takeshita. And I think hopefully that match will be set soon for Wrestle Dream. We've got Saraya taking on Jamie Hayter in a Saraya rules match. Pretty much whatever Saraya says goes. So from my understanding, she can't get disqualified, she can't be counted out, she can use weapons, However, all this stuff doesn't go in the favour of Jamie Hayter. I think one thing that's going to be interesting with this match, can Saraya change the rules as the match is going on, say partway through? Can she make it a handicap match, say she gets Harley Cameron involved? Could be different scenarios of how they want to play this one out. For me, the fact that it's Saraya rules means that Saraya should be picking up the victory. However, I don't back against Jamie Hayter, so even though it makes less sense to do so, I'm not going to be a hater. Jamie to pick up the W. We've got a three-way Lucha Libre match. We've got the Beast of Mortos coming against Hologram and Dralistico. This one should be awesome, I'm not going to lie to you. 3 Lucha Libre stars at the top of their game, and Hologram is taking AEW by storm, and I think the Beast of Mortos is doing so also. For me, I would like to go for the Beast Mortals to pick up the win. However, I think Hologram is so over right now, so I can't put past him picking up the win here, and I think Dralistico will be the one taking the pinfall. And last but certainly not least, we've got a Tornado Trios match. We've got the Learning Tree of Chris Jericho, Big Bill and Brian Keith going against the Conglomeration of Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly. This one should be a fun time. Obviously, Cassidy and Jericho have renewed their rivalry over the money that was owed to Chris Jericho. He got it back but in coins, with his car being destroyed in the process. Orange Cassidy actually beat Jericho last week on Dynamite as well, so part of me feels this one should be the Learning Tree. However, a bit of me doesn't want to go against the Conglomeration because I think it's a really cool faction. It's been a lot of fun to watch on AEW TV so far. However, I think the Learning Tree needs this win more of the two factions, so I think Jericho finds a way to win here and we can finally move on to something new. But that's my predictions there for AEW Grand Slam, for AEW Dynamite and for Collision. Let me know your predictions down in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, share with a friend and subscribe as well. Keep an eye out for the channel as well. There'll be more AEW content. If you enjoy WWE and TNA as well, then make sure this is the place for you. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more from this channel, check out the side of the screen right now. Take care, thank you for watching.